there are people who are still not sure about Dom's stance and where things are going to go. And I think that's what makes this a little bit more interesting to dissect. That's why I wanted to take a second, because I think there might be a little bit more going on than what we are seeing. Okay. So the main thing that we all have thought was Dom came out there to try and help Liv, even though he's trying to sell us that, oh, I was out there to try and make sure that Becky retains because, you know, she's the one who took mommy's title. So I want to make sure that when she comes back, she can face Becky. But the thing that's weird is the fact that Finn is so involved. Like, he came out at the start of the show. He comes out later, which we'll talk about. JD was with him too, but that is what it is. But then we have to replay the footage of Liv getting out of the car with Finn. No one else. So a theory that could be floating is, what if it's like Finn and Liv are in cahoots together? What if it's them trying to do this to Dom, and that Dom actually isn't like actively trying to do something with Liv, but they're trying to get it to that point? Like, what if this is Finn trying to dismantle the Judgment Day from the inside out, and he's playing a double agent? I think that is fascinating, because that was not something I originally thought of, but we can't ignore that footage of him and Liv getting out of the same car, because then it's like, what was the purpose of that? If we're supposed to believe that it's only her and her and Dom, then why would she be having any sort of one-on-one time with Finn? Like, what are they talking about? If they don't want anything to do with her, and they don't want her in the Judgment Day, and they don't want her having any sort of influence over Dom's decisions or kicking Rhea out or whatever, then it's like, okay, Finn, then what were you doing, Fergie? What were you doing with Miss Liv? You know?
You really intrigued me here, because from that theory that you just had, AJ's got to do something after Cody, and then you could trade him to Raw for Braun Breaker, because let's be real here, Sarah, Adam Pearce has had enough of that motherfucker. He's so done with Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
So it works there, and then Liv takes Dom away, Finn away, and then you get a Bullet Club. But you know what? I'm just a dreamer. But still, I totally agree with everything you're saying, that you need Finn being the mastermind would be such an unbelievable reveal.
Yeah, I think that this has, this story in general, I think it has a lot of possibilities. And the main one that we have discussed a lot is that Dom chooses Liv, betrays Rhea, whatever, right? And then that's the best way for Rhea to come back, because then she's going to come back and be like the ultimate babyface, which would serve the company well, because we don't know when Becky is going to come back. So they're going to need like that top woman on the Raw roster, and who better than Rhea Ripley, right? So I think that would work well. But there are a lot of ways that the Liv Morgan revenge tour can go. It really could be that she is working with Finn Bálor to dismantle the Judgment Day. It could be that she is working directly with Dominik Mysterio, and then that's like a whole thing. The stuff with Finn could be like, you know, he's jealous of the success that Damian has, and that he's champion, and that he left him high and dry after losing the tag titles. Like, there's so many ways that this can go that is still interesting. And I don't know. I feel like they've done a really good job at keeping us entertained, but then also guessing, because you don't know what direction they're going to go in. But at this point, it feels like no matter what they do, it's not going to disappoint.
I don't care what they do. It's the most interesting story on the show right now, and it doesn't involve the World Heavyweight Championship. So,
well, what's fun is it involves the women's title. When's the last time that we've had that much of a like interesting storyline around a women's championship? You know what I mean? Like, this is usually reserved for the WWE or the World Heavyweight title. It's always the men's. that it's always them that have the most complex, intriguing storylines, which, you get it, I guess, but like it's kind of nice because like it's involved, it surrounds this title, but it's not necessarily, Liv isn't feuding directly with a specific woman, so it's like one dimensional. You know what I mean? It's not just like an over and over and over again story. It's like, okay, yeah, she won this time, and let's see what happens next time. Like, it's a lot more interesting. And I'm kind of torn on how I feel about what path I would want them to take, because I love what we've been talking about, having, Dom take Liv and choose her over Rhea and all that comes with that. But then, I love me some Fergie Ferg. We know that he is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. So if I can be, huh?
We do know this.
Yes. I'm like, and if you don't know, now you know. Literally in like my top 10, top 5. So to see him have a chance to have like this much of a huge, potentially impactful storyline that could go on for quite a while has me excited, because I feel like he's been the forgotten member of Judgment Day. Like, I get that JD McDonough kind of has been too, but like
Finn,
you know what I mean? It's always been Finn, and I just don't think that's fair. So I would love for him to be the mastermind, or at least if it's not even that, if that's not the main story, I would love for him to be super involved in this in some way, no matter which of the two ways that we think it could go, because I think that he deserves to have a big moment like that, and I would love that for him. So
I said this on the Thursday show, I'm pretty sure. Whoop, here we go. I said this on the Thursday show, where because of the Jordan Grace and Ethan Page, I just am at a point now where I don't care what they do. We have the trust in WWE that we have not had in a very long time when it came to storylines and feuds. Now that you have that, I don't care what they do. I don't want to predict it. I want to come on here and react and be like, that was amazing, like, or they should have done this or whatnot. The fact that we're surprised now, and there is that element of surprise and shock that we haven't had in a very long time. That's what I want from this. So if you do whatever way they go, I don't care, because I know that it's going to be a good payoff.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be potentially one of their better storylines, and I feel Raw is doing a really good job with having these types of stories right now. And I think there was kind of a hole after, the bloodline story. The height of that was kind of over, which basically happened once Jay was moved to Raw. So there was like a giant void there, because you're like, oh, there's nothing to look forward to. And then there was the whole Cody story, and like, if he's going to finish the story and blah, 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 then that ends because he wins the title at WrestleMania. And then it's like, okay, Gunther loses the title at WrestleMania. And then it's like, okay, now what? Like, what other big storyline can I be invested in on a weekly basis? And I can't wait to see what happens next. So it feels like they kind of have, this is the beginnings of one that I think could really be months long. Like, it'll go on beyond Rhea's return, which I think is what the show needs, but also what the Judgment Day needs. And then obviously something Liv needs to establish herself as more of like a legitimate heel bad girl champion. I think that this is going to be money if they do it right. I have to stress that this could be absolute money if they can do it right.